Hello, fellas. It's been a while. It's been a couple of months since I've done anything. No, I've not been hibernating, although it feels like it. Where do I start? I think the last time I spoke to you guys, it was probably the end of November or October, I can't remember. But anyway, as I mentioned in one of my videos, I got the dreaded COVID, which kind of knocked me back a bit. And that kind of hung on for a while. I thought I was over it, and it kept coming back and giving me a bit of a kicking. I don't know what happened there, but my screen just flipped all the way around. Let me just stop this. Well, that's a good start, wasn't it? The battery in the gimbal died. I thought it was charged, obviously it wasn't. Sorry about that. So where was I? Yeah, back end of October, back end of November, I can't remember. I thought I was getting over COVID, and it kept coming back, kept giving me a bit of a kick in. I started to get better, and then middle of November, towards the end of November, I had a real issue. I got, and I've had this before, I got cellulitis in my lower right leg, which I've had it before. I know how to deal with it, and I thought I was on top of it. It was bloody painful at the time, I must admit. I couldn't walk for a good sort of 4 or 5 days. It was so painful, and anyone that's ever had it knows, particularly if you've had it in your leg, your lower leg, you know how painful it can be. I was on antibiotics. I was kind of getting better. At least I thought I was. And then it came back with a vengeance. Never had it like this before. It spread all the way up my leg, and my leg became incredibly swollen. And within all that, there was an issue that I didn't know was there, that manifested itself a bit later, in that I developed what they refer to as a subcutaneous abscess. So all the swelling in my leg, basically it ripped open, for want of a better word, and I was left with a 3-inch long, inch deep gash in my thigh, the back of my thigh, which just was a mess, an absolute mess. So I ended up having to go in a hospital, and I was there for a week to try and get on top of the infection that had spread through my leg, and to manage the wound that I was left with, which I'm still left with. It's an ongoing process. It's going to take months for this to heal, and I was instructed not to do anything. I needed to rest. I needed to keep my leg elevated, and I needed to take it easy and not put myself at risk, basically, which meant that I was off work for, crikey, must have been 6 weeks. I just started back sort of early January, slowly taking it easy, seeing what I could and couldn't do. Even things like driving were a problem, painful, difficult, constantly worried about damaging the wound again, just because of where it is. It's in a really awkward place that wherever you sit down, it's prone to damage. But touch wood, it's getting better. It's on the mend. I'm starting to do a little bit more, trying to get up and about a bit, and it's been hard going, having not kind of moved around for a bit, and then having to sort of get going again. Sort of, you don't realise how difficult that can be. you know, you sort of it's noticeably lost a bit of strength in my leg, which has taken a bit of time to come back, and is coming back. A bit more work to do there, and I've got to keep taking it easy for a little while longer until the wound in my leg is fully healed, and that's, like I say, that's going to take a little while. But I've not been idle. The brewery's never been far from my thoughts. There's been bits and pieces going in the background. Obviously took a bit of a break during Christmas just to enjoy time with the kids and the family. But there's been a little bit of movement in the brewery. There's still some major jobs to do that were about to happen before I had to take a rest. And the weather's getting better. It's getting a little bit warmer. There's some very early signs of spring. It's a bit too early yet for spring, but there's some promising signs. Temperature's up. The blossoms up on the tree over there that I can see. So I'm getting ready to get going again and get this thing moving. So I'll show you in a minute some of the stuff that's happened in the past couple of months. It's more about getting stuff for the brewery than actually doing things. And there's been a few things on my mind that I've been trying to figure out what to do with. Principally, I've got various bits of kit, as you can see behind me here. That's my 100-litre kit, which I'm probably going to hang on to for now because I might have a use for those vessels. But behind me there is, let me just show you guys, down here just behind this chair, I'll just flip, just behind this chair, let me move this out of the way. As you can see, this shed is a bit of a dumping ground the past couple of months. There's a 200-litre pot and a 160-litre thermopot mash tun, both from Brew Builder. They were going to be my brewery, startup brewery, before the kit from Andy at Four Priests arrived. So I wasn't quite sure what to do with these. And I had visions of potentially sort of using them with the new brewery kit, but I just don't have the space. And to be honest, I need the space in here because this space in here is going to get reconfigured from where it is now. So this bench is going to go along this wall here up to the window, and then this corner where the fridges are, I'm going to turn that into a cold room. So about a quarter or a third of the unit is going to be turned into a cold room, which will be an interesting project to document. These fridges are going to go. I'll keep one of them. I'll keep the little silver one just to store hops and things, but the two white ones are going to go because I don't think I'll need them if I've got a cold room, basically. So there's a bit of reconfiguring to do in here, but I'm going to do that when the weather just gets a little bit warmer, because I want to get all this stuff out under a tarpaulin, so I've got a clean empty space that I can work in. But let's go and have a look in the brewery. Let's go and see what's been happening, and I'll show you what I've been doing in the past couple of months, or not been doing. We'll see. So here we are. Not a great deal has changed. Little bits of rubbish in there. There's the two fermenters, which I'll talk to you about in a second. And there's the big 400-litre tank on the floor on the pallet truck. So thinking about the 200-litre pots we just looked at, my plan is that I don't need them. I need the space more than I need them. So they're going to go. So I'm going to offer on Facebook, in fact I've already offered the 400-litre pot on Facebook, but I'm going to put it together with the two 200-litre units and offer that as a complete system and see if anybody wants it. If anybody's interested, drop me a line and let's have a chat about it. Obviously they're not free. I've had to pay for them. The tank you're looking at now is brand new, unused. The other two tanks have been used, but they're serviceable. They just need a good clean and a bit of TLC. but there's nothing wrong with them. The 200 litre pot you just seen has got the same tri-clamp ferrules at the bottom. Like I say, they're all brew builder kits, so they're good quality kits. The thermopot has got a false bottom in. So yeah, that's going to go on Facebook. So all the other jobs that I'd started previously are still yet to be done. I've still got to connect up the sockets. I've got to finish off the HLT control box. All the electrics in here are going to get redone. I've got to put a condenser on the kettle, and I've got to get the main control unit sorted and all the elements connected. This is pretty much as I left it. So what's been happening? What have I done in the past? Well, I've acquired a few things, a few pieces of equipment for the brewery that I needed, which I've been keeping an eye on Facebook for a while to see if they came up on eBay, and I got lucky. And I managed to pick myself up, as you can see, a 26 plate heat exchanger. Needs a bit of refurb, needs a bit of TLC, but perfectly fine. Came from a working brewery down in Colchester. Great guys down there, interesting setup. So that is going to be the cooling system for the brewery. Other acquisitions that have come my way are a semi-pro cannula and a duo filler, which are going to be placed on around this bench area here, and that will be my canning station and general sort of work area at the moment anyway, which ties me back to how the kit's going to work. So as you can see, we've got a reasonable sized kettle, we've got a reasonable sized fermenter, and then I've got two 120 litre Blickmans, which are all jacketed with cooling coils and heating pads. The plan is, and I think I've mentioned this before, the plan is to utilise the main fermenter, the Grundy, for larger batches of beers that I hope would be popular, and to utilise the two Blickmans, which I can ferment under pressure, along with the bright tank, and then connected to the canning station. So there'll be closed loop transfer from Blickman to bright tank, and then bright tank to duo filler into cans. So the plan is to do some special brews, limited edition throughout the season, experiments more or less, that will go into can, that I will put on mail order. That will be the plan, and for local supply nearby where it's going to go into cask and keg, this will come mostly from the large vessel here, but potentially from these as well. So what I'm trying to do is building some flexibility so that I can have possibly one or two beers as the core range, and do some experimentation throughout the year to see what works, what doesn't work, and hopefully create some interesting beers for you guys to try. There's quite a bit to do in here, but it's all finishing off stuff really. Like I say, all the major kit is here. I need to get myself a CO2 bottle in here, which I don't have at the moment, and I need to get the electrics sorted. There's a tiny bit of plumbing to do. I'm looking into, and I've mentioned this before, I'm looking into using reverse osmosis, because the water here is incredibly hard, and it's going to be a bit of a problem doing some of the beers I want to do, particularly if I want to do during the summer, do some hoppy, hazy pales and IPAs. It's going to be a real challenge to get anything like what I want with the water I've got. It won't be a problem for doing dark beers and stouts. I shouldn't have to worry too much about it. It should lend itself quite well with a bit of filtration, but I've got to sort it out and get the right water profile for those other kinds of beers, because I'm just going to struggle. Not that it won't be half decent beer, because it will. It just won't be what I want it to be. And it's going to be all about quality, because I'm going to be putting this out in relatively low volume, particularly in cans. I want to make sure it's right, and I'll make sure it gets recognised for good quality beer, and not just any old crap going into a can. I'm not about that. This is a venture into trying different things. So this is just a quick catch up, just to say I'm still here. I haven't fallen off the face of the earth, although it might have felt like it. There has been a good reason for me not being around. It's been a bit of a struggle getting over the cellulitis, and then the resulting wound, and then the recovery from that. It's kind of knocked me a little bit. It took a little while. It's been hard going and painful. You know, it's extremely painful. But I'm coming out of that. Determined to push through, carry on, keep swinging, as they say. And hopefully get some more content out pretty soon. What I'll probably plan to do in the next week or two is finish all the conduit and the socket placements in here. I'll plan out and do the plumbing that I need. If there's an RO filter going in, I'll figure out where that's going to go. I'll figure out why that HLT tank is leaning a little bit. I think it's because the ground isn't quite level in the corner, so I need to have a look at that. And then I'll get back onto the other projects, like refurbishing the cladding on some of these pots, getting rid of this thing out of the way, because it just gets in the way. It's huge. I can't even get it out the door, it's so big. I can get it out the garage door, but I've nowhere to keep it out there. And I can't get it out of that door because I'd have to take the door and the frame off, because it's just too big. And that is a job I really don't want to do. So I'd rather sell it with the other bits and get rid of it and put that money to good use, because that money will help me pay for the electrics, pay for the plumbing, and pay for the CO2 bottle or anything else that I need in here, because there's still quite a few little bits and pieces to buy, and some interesting projects on the way. So thanks for sticking with me, those that I have, sorry. I do apologise for not publishing any content the last couple of months, but I hope you understand I was not in the frame of mind or in a healthy state to do it. I had to focus entirely on getting myself right and better, and eliminate the risk of anything going wrong to stop this project. I hope I'm there now. We'll see. Like I say, there's still a few months ahead of me in terms of recovery, so I've still got to be careful what I do. Thankfully, most of the major work, heavy lifting, is done, so that's a bit of a relief. The only bit that kind of concerns me in terms of heavy lift or work going forward is building the cold room. But like I say, that's not going to happen for a few weeks, and we'll see how that pans out. So for now, thanks very much. I hope this has been an interesting catch up for you, and I'll be back soon. Hopefully, see you later. Thanks very much. Bye bye.